Hi again everyone, welcome along to a very short video in response to a little conversation I was having on Facebook this morning with Christian. We were talking about the Airbus, particularly I think the Aerosoft, but it applies pretty much to all the non-default Airbus that are available for the different sims. I was talking about setting up the approach. So we're on our way into Edinburgh. I've just flown up from Madrid. We're flying at the moment as Easy 267 Whiskey, and I'll just drag across quickly the flight plan that we've got. We've departed Madrid on the northerly runways this morning, flown up over pretty much straight out. There was on runway 18 right departure, straight out all the way up over northern Spain, the Bay of Biscay, into the UK at Berry Head, up over the Welsh border, and then we're now in the descent on a Tweed 3 Alpha arrival for runway 24 at Edinburgh. I'll just quickly drag the charts across so you can see what we are planning. The Tweed 3 Alpha brings us in from Escdo down towards Tartan, and then there's no holding today because there's no traffic, so we're going to go direct to the ILS for 24. You'd normally be vectored, but there's no control, and we're not on VATSIM or anything like that this morning. And then the ILS for runway 24. We've got platform altitude 3,000 feet, and the decision height, the 300 feet on the ILS. And the weather at Edinburgh is through active sky, winds 220 at 4 knots, QNH 996. So with all that information in mind, we go into the aircraft. Just have a quick look at where we are in the descent. We're coming down to 150, and we're just a little bit high on profile, but that's fine. So we're just turning at Escdo now, so we're just coming on to the start of that arrival plate, which I'll just bring across here. We've got the SimLink feature running, so you can see where we are, live position on the charts there. So what we've done is we've taken all the information there that we've just talked about. I imagine we've been re-cleared down to, let's say, flight level 90, and we go to the FMS, FMC, I can't remember what we call them on an Airbus. And we go to the performance page, and you've got here your phases. So we're currently in the descent phase. So we go across to the next phase, that gives us our approach. And then from active sky and from the charts, we've taken the variant information and populated this page. So the QNH at Edinburgh currently, I think we said, was 996 still. Just have a quick look at active sky. Yes, it is 996. Temperature +1, and the winds 220 at 4. The transition level is 6,000 in Edinburgh, flight level 60, and the minimas for the ILS DME 24 are 300, which we've put in there as well. So that sets up the FMC. The other thing I always like to do as well is just go into the legs page, find a leg that's closest to your arrival runway, and line select it, and you get into its fix info page. And you can normally put, let's do that one. If we get into the fix info, you can put a reference fix in there. So the identifier for the ILS. The ILS 24 is India Tango Hotel. I'll just show you where to find that quickly. Just find my charts. They're all buried underneath the other windows I've got open in the on my second monitor. There we go. So on the charts, the identifier is the India Tango Hotel 108.9241, the inbound course. We'll just also verify, actually, whilst we're in the FMC, go to the RAD nav page, radio navigation page, make sure we've got 108.9241, which is done by the FMC automatically when you select your approach. See where we are in the descent phase. We're a bit high on profile, so let's give it a bit of the old speed brakes to bring us down a bit. So what I was saying there, so the identifier, we've identified the ILS as India Tango Hotel. So if I go to the flight plan, find a fix that's near to the arrival, go to fix info, and you reference the India Tango Hotel, just verify we've got the right one. It's 23 nautical miles from our current position, and the latitude is 56 north, so we can pretty much guarantee that that's the right one. We can also verify that it is 108.9, so that's the fix that we're referencing. Reference that, and then you'll get this page. Pop in 10 on the radius, don't worry about the radial, just the radius, and then go across to the next page, do the same, so we're referencing the same fix, the ILS. Make sure we get the right one, which is this one. Pop in 5, and then if we just go to the flight plan page, imagine we've been cleared down to 5,000 because I want to keep the descent continuing. I'll go to the legs page. In fact, you can see it here now already. The rings now around the ILS, so you can just see it coming in. I'll just expand that a bit. You can just see that coming into the top of the 20-mile ring. There is the reference for the ILS and the airport, which is our arrival, and then the 2 rings around that 5 and 10 DME just helps us to know when to configure the aircraft and get it slowed up, get the gear down. So with that in mind, we verified that we've got the ILS tuned, which was done automatically when we selected the correct approach, which we can see here. If we're in flight plan page, click on our destination, arrival, and we've got the ILS 24 Tweed 3 Alpha. So by selecting the ILS 24, it should populate the ILS frequency and course, and it tells you there you've got a standard 3-degree glide slope. So verify we've got all that. We've got the approach data input in the approach phase for the landing airport. You've got the QNH, the wind, temperature, and the minimas set, and then we just monitor the aircraft in the descent. And what I want to talk about is really getting it set up, slowed down and established on the approach so that it captures the ILS correctly. So what you'd normally get, I think, here from Edinburgh is just past Tartan. So I'll show you on here where we are. You're going to behave for us. Anyway, we've just turned at there we go. Just turned to Tartan, and we've programmed a course to the extended centre line for the ILS to capture the ILS. What I think we probably get here at Edinburgh is vectors, because you can see if I bring that in, too much Ranger, that is quite a tight turn onto the ILS. So we'd probably be vectored for a 10-mile final. So we're just going to heading mode, bring ourselves right. 15 degrees, so and just cut the corner a little, extend the corner rather, so it's not quite a sharper turn onto finals. And that's something that you can do. Imagine we've been cleared down to 3,000 feet as well. So we've also got the automated co-pilot working away in the background there. So what I've done now is just this. You don't have to do this. You can just leave it in managed mode. But what I've done is I've put it into heading select and VS. In fact, we probably want to increase the vertical speed a little bit. And that's just a bit of rain there. That's just enabling me to manage the approach a bit better. And what I'm looking to do is get it out at about a 10-mile final. And I want to get it down to, what do we say, platform altitude was 2,000 feet on the charts. So I'll keep sending about 1,600 feet per minute. I'm looking at the glide slope, so you can see the glide slope diamond. At the moment we're well above the glide slope. It's full deflection, but it's coming back in. So we're basically almost sort of 100 degrees in the opposite direction to the landing direction of the runway. So we're gradually working our way back onto the ILS, obviously, but flying in the opposite direction. So I want to get it established on the ILS and use the vertical speed to try and keep it around about that. Just means we get a continuous approach, we don't ever level off. And then we'd be vectored probably back onto the ILS there. I'm self-vectoring because there's no ATC online, we're not on VATSIM or anything like that. So I'm just assuming what the controllers would do. So we're running the automated... Oh, hello. Just going to get rid of ultimate traffic. It's running in the background just because I was enjoying a nice busy departure from Madrid. So we're trying to keep it on the ILS in terms of the glide slope. Don't want to get too low. And we're also trying to self-vector basically. So I think I've just slightly overdone the descent rate there. So we are going to level off a little bit. But you can see we're well under the glide slope, so we're in a position to capture it from beneath. The aircraft is commanded slow to best approach speed, so we'll start configuring the flaps. Interfet's going to do it for us in a second. And because I'm still vectoring, I'm going to start turning the aircraft onto about a 30-degree intercept. So we've got 240, so 270, and then we're just watching the localizer to see when that starts coming in. We're still below the glide slope, so we're not on the glide yet. So we've set an intercept course to the ILS. We're below the glide, so we are in a good position. And we're just waiting for those diamonds to start tracking down and across respectively. So the glide slope's alive. You should see momentarily the localizer become alive as well. What I'm aiming to do is try and get in a position where we capture the localizer and the glide slope together, which we are. So that's the localizer's alive. So I'm going to go into lock, and it'll start turning us on to the localizer, and then we're a dot above on the glide slope. So I'm going to hit approach mode. And you can see it's gone to Cat 3 single, but it's not captured the glide slope yet. Waiting for that diamond to come into the middle. We're still in out hold. We've got glide slope capture, and the aircraft's pitching down. So what I did is wait for the diamond on the glide slope scale to be one dot above. We're already in lock mode, so you could either use heading select to turn the aircraft manually onto the ILS, or you can put it into lock capture, so it'll capture the localizer only, which you'd use the same for just a VOR track. And then once it's one above on the glide slope, we go into approach mode, and then once it captures the glide slope, it'll actually pitch over and start to descend down on the glide. So with that in mind, we're fully established on the ILS. We've got the speed, we've got 1400 foot established, and we are winds still. Last check was 260 at 4 on the ground, 273 at 4 up here. So it will back slightly as we get closer to the ground. So let's see if I can mess this up completely. Disconnect and fly it down manually. You'll have the benefit of quite a low wind, and the aircraft also being fully established and fully trimmed and configured automatically before I disconnected. So actually, all being well, shouldn't need to do too much to keep it on the localizer and on the glide. Got a bit of a right crosswinds, just correcting that ever so slightly. Tiny little corrections. Just gone right wing down ever so slightly just to keep that back on. There we go, that's better. And monitoring that descent rate. It's about 700 feet per minute on a typical ILS 3-degree slope. And not to make too big a corrections, not chasing it, just fixing that touchdown zone visually. Just starting to descend just below the glide there, so just pitching up ever so slightly to hold that. Watching those puppies as well, so we've got 3 reds pitching up, getting back on the profile, there we go, pitching down again, maintaining that rate of descent. Minimums continue. 50 idling into the flare. Whoa, nose dropping a bit there, bit of a heavy landing. Got spoilers and reverse. Getting it back on the centre line. Definitely not getting it on the centre line. There we go. And we're looking to exit. We'll exit at Bravo, so that's coming up now. So we'll go manual braking. And the reversers are disconnected. Try and actually track the centre of the taxiway as we vacate. My lovely automated co-pilot is cleaning the aircraft up for us. And there we go, vacated, taxiing in, the after landing checklist is complete. And we'll I'll end the video before we get onto stand, just because it's quite a long taxi in here and the basic procedures never change: taxiing, shut down and disembarking. But that was the aim of that little video, just to show you not the not the best landing in the world. I'm not too proud of that one. That won't go in the Hall of Fame for sure. In fact, let's go to, I'm running Project Fly in the background, so let's just see what that thinks of our landing. We can complete the flight there because we're on the ground. And go and have a little look. 132 feet per minute, that's not bad. Not that I'm precious about landing rates. We didn't break the aircraft, everyone walked away. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a good landing. But there we go. Right, I'll end that one there, and I'll try and get that up onto my YouTube page in a couple of minutes for you. That should be quite a quick turnaround for me. I'm notoriously bad at turning videos around. There we go. I hope that went a little way to show you some of the sort of procedures there with the Airbus. Any questions and comments, please drop them down, and also request if there's anything you want to see, and I'll try and get those videos done for you. Otherwise, enjoy, and I'll see you soon.